I'm so excited because today we're not just having one beautiful or two, but three beautiful ladies that are going to be here to share their wonderful stories about competing for Miss North Carolina Teen USA, Miss North Carolina USA, as well as one of my dear friends who was my coach back in the day. She's going to be joining us as well. But enough about me. Let's talk to them. So first off, I'm going to bring in Jane, and she's Miss North Carolina USA. Let me just close this out without being able to see it. All right, here we go. So welcome, Jane. It's so nice to have you on today. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Hello. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I'm going to bring in your Miss Teen North Carolina USA as well. And that's Peyton, who's joining us. Oh, why is it doing for? Hold on. I messed up somewhere.
Hi.
Oh. Very strange. I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. We'll just keep talking. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. How's everything going where you guys are?
It's going really great.
Yeah, everything's good here.
I'm in Edison Beach right now, so that's why I'm outside. It's a little windy, but it's going good. Yeah, just making the best out of it, out of the situation that we're in right now.
So I know you get ready to graduate in a couple of weeks. Are you excited about that?
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Or not even a couple of weeks, like sooner than that, right?
Yeah, like in a week.
Any special plans for graduation?
Not really.
Virtually plans?
Well, no. So I'm graduating from Tennessee in the next week or so. But I don't really have many plans for the summer, but I'll be working in Providence, Rhode Island this fall for L'Oreal and supply chain. So I'm really excited about that and excited to see what kind of role I'll be able to take in that company.
Can you tell us a little bit about your new job?
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure what my job title is going to be. Right now, it's just a basic supply chain analyst. But I will be working in a smaller office that's next to the CVS headquarters. So we're going to be mainly a customer supply chain office. So we just work with CVS and make sure that their orders are full and all that. So.
I'm sorry about that. Oh, look, at least there's 3 screens now. Before it was like 4 and it was very random. Nothing was working. Turns out somehow my internet was on my neighbor's Wi-Fi.
Huh.
Very weird. So sorry about that.
Interesting. You're good.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Sorry. All right, so let's try that again. So you have a new job. Can you explain what your new job's going to be?
Yeah, so I'll be working in supply chain at L'Oreal. I'll be in Providence, Rhode Island. So our office is right next to the CVS headquarters. So we're going to be working in customer supply chain. So we'll be basically making sure that all of CVS orders are full and there's no defects, all aspects of supply chain like that. So.
Well, that's great. Now, Peyton, what are your plans for this summer? You have anything going on? I know you finished your first year.
Yeah, that's been really fun. But being online school, that's not really going to change. I want to do some summer classes online, and I'm just going to stay home during the summer and enjoy time with my family. That's all I really have planned right now.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your experience as being Miss North Carolina. I know it's changed a lot within these last couple of months, but how did it start off? I'll start with you, Peyton. How was it when you won Miss Teen?
Oh my gosh, it was like everything changed. Like, I had been preparing for this title for years, and I actually got it. Like, everything just started off the bat. I started to have appearances rolling in. I had to be more responsible with emails, and balancing school with this title has been, really difficult. But I have been able to go out and meet so many people and have so many amazing conversations and establish amazing connections that this has just been like a dream come true. And I'm so sad I finally get this, and Corona cuts out all of my appearances. But yeah, it's been keeping me busy, and I never know what happens next.
Now, are you doing any virtual appearances that we should be aware of to make sure we follow?
Other than this one, I haven't had any virtual appearances as of right now. But that's a good idea. I might consider that for future appearances. But as of right now, everything has been like major events, and they've been canceled. So
I can understand. There's I think a lot of different places are trying to figure out how they're going to change for the summer, even because it doesn't look like a lot of things are going to be opening up as soon as they were expecting. So we'll see. How about with you, Jane? What was it like when you won Miss North Carolina USA?
It was amazing. It was a dream come true. It was something that I'd been looking forward to for years. I was really excited and honored to win. But it's been an incredible year so far. I mean, I know like recently things have been a little bit tougher and things have shut down, but I've been able to do some really awesome experiences and appearances. And I've met some really incredible people who are making an impact across North Carolina. So it's been really special. I've had some really good times with it.
Now, what was one of the appearances that sticks out to you that was most, I guess, impactful or that you felt the best about?
Well, I've been able to visit a few VA medical centers. And so one that was particularly special was one it was Durham. So we okay, we're good. Sorry, I thought I saw something.
No, this is real life, right?
I know.
The joys of being here.
We were able to walk around and say hi to a bunch of veterans and just thank them for their service. And it was really special because you could see how happy they were to see us. And we got to pass out gifts and cards and just spend time with them. So that was really special, just making sure that they're appreciated. And in such a hard time when they're in the VA Medical Center, usually it's not for something good. So it's always nice to bring a smile to someone's face like that.
I can imagine. How about for you, Jamie? What was maybe one of the events or even just being involved with Miss North Carolina team that was most impactful for you?
I'll probably say it was probably one of our longest appearances. Jane was with me. It was when we visited the UNC Chapel Hill dental clinic at their dental school, and they had a free dental clinic for children to come in and get their teeth cleaned and serviced and to have minor procedures done. And that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to attend UNC dental school, either to be a dentist, an orthodontist, or an oral surgeon. I haven't really figured out that much, but that is my end goal, dream school to go to. And I got to meet a lot of amazing workers, a lot of amazing people, and establish contacts. Really good for me. But I got to talk to the children and hold conversations with them, and got to experience what it's like to be a dentist and to interact with children. And that was really fun.
Oh, I'm tearing up because my uncle was the first Black dentist to graduate from UNC, and he started that program with the kids where they started coming in to get their teeth cleaned there. He would pay $1 to each kid to try to get them to come in. And so it's just so heartwarming to hear that they're still doing that and that you were able to be a part of it. I wasn't expecting it, so it kind of caught me off guard. And I tell everybody, after you have your kid, hormones just make you cry all the time. And I was just like, oh, because we were very, very close my uncle and I'll have to have you as my dentist whenever you graduate, because I really respect people who are in that field, but it's since his passing, I've had like anxiety with going to dentists, especially male dentists. I'm always looking for a good female one. So I'm excited for you. And you went to a great school
Mm-hmm.
for that. So congratulations on getting that opportunity as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was an amazing day.
Let me get my eyes back on. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm such a wimp when it comes to certain things. Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of still on that same, I guess, possible teary area, but you're involved in something that you don't really hear a lot of young people being involved in. And I think it's very important because it's become aware that domestic violence affects women and girls at such a young age that we weren't, well, at least in my generation, we weren't really aware of. So I think it's amazing that you're involved in this organization. So can you speak to more about it?
Yeah, so my platform is called C.A.R.E about domestic violence, and C.A.R.E is an acronym for Changing Attitudes Requires Everyone. And I started this when I was 12 years old, and it was just something that I volunteered at a festival to pass out brochures about a local safe house. And then I started hearing stories about people at my school, people in my community, people in my family, and people who live like 2 houses down from me. And knowing that I've lost people due to domestic violence acts, and I've come into contact and actually tutored a victim of sexual assault in a relationship. And seeing that there are people in my community that were affected by domestic violence made me think, well, why is no one talking about this? Why didn't I know anything about it until I asked? And I realized that that's something that has to change because, as you mentioned, there is a stigma when it comes to relationship and domestic violence. And so what I've done is since I was 12 years old, I have raised awareness, partnered with organizations, I've volunteered, I've donated my time, and I've also brought it to North Carolina House Representatives to talk about legislation. And I'm hoping that I continue my work with domestic violence. Sorry, that's my
dog. Puppy is sad.
Yeah, but right now. And like with social media campaigns, like I'm just doing everything I can to raise awareness for it, and especially with coronavirus right now, domestic violence rates are skyrocketing because they're enclosed in their homes and you can't go and get help, and hotlines are crashing because of all of the calls. And next week, I'm going to be putting out videos about what domestic violence is and how you can help someone to figure out the signs. But yeah, it is serious, it is relevant, and someone needs to talk about it.
Yeah, there was a video I saw, I think it was last week on social media, where there was a woman who was calling to order pizza, but it was really to get help from 911. And I thought that was so impactful, just seeing how you kind of want to get help and how hard it might be. And I think a lot of people put a lot of, I guess, guilt on the woman or the person being abused, whether a woman or a man, in that sense, that why don't they just leave? And I think it's great that you're drawing awareness to the fact that that's not always the easiest case for them to do.
Yeah, it's not an easy topic to talk about, but you got to start young and you got to start educating about it.
Absolutely. So what about with you, Jane, your initiative is, I'm trying to flip back up to it. Sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about yours as well? Because you're involved with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters program.
Yeah, I am. I've been a big sister for 2 years, so that's something that I've really enjoyed doing for a while. We have a really great relationship, so I love my little sister. But another thing that I'm really involved in too is actually the homeless population in Charlotte. So my dad is a builder, so he's been working on affordable housing. So I've kind of been able to switch roles as to someone who's been able to watch him and all the great things that he's doing. He's partnering with a few nonprofits with it. So now I've kind of been able to advocate with it, and I've worked with these nonprofits and kind of been able to speak about it and meet people who have been homeless, whether that's through substance abuse or who are ex-convicts or, whatever it may be. So it's something that's become really special to my heart and something that I've really enjoyed doing and working with, especially as Miss North Carolina now. So yeah.
That's awesome. Now, is there anything that we can do, as I'm sure a lot of people who are now home and used to volunteer, even myself, I consider myself a professional volunteer, but is there initiatives or things that you would you would like to, I guess, share with everyone that they can still get involved with, even with being social distancing or physical distancing?
Right. Well, there's a lot of great organizations that are helping to feed people
Okay.
in different cities. So you could definitely look up stuff like that, or even homeless shelters. Donating, bringing food, bringing clothes. There's a lot of things that people can do in their respective areas for their local shelter or food banks or whatever that may be. But there's definitely, especially in this time, I'm sure there's a lot of people who are in need right now. And, it's desperate times for a lot of families. So it's something that we can all.
So many families right now have been purging and cleaning their house. So a great time to do all of those things you realize you don't need anymore, or maybe you're refrigerating. You can get rid of it. You can take it to some of the local shelters, or even Miss USA was bringing it up yesterday. Dress for Success is another great place you can donate some of those clothes. Now that you're not wearing office gear all the time, maybe for new graduates who might need to interview or someone, just to give them some clothes that they can possibly use as well. For all.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Those are good. So, I'm looking for everyone that's home and stuck quarantine or physical distancing. Any tips or anything that you guys have noticed about yourselves that you've learned since being stuck home? Yeah, let's start with you, Peyton.
Well, I've been spending a lot of more time with my sisters and my family. I got a taste of what it's like to live at college and not have to worry about your mom waking you up because it's 11 o'clock and she doesn't want you to sleep until 2. It's not fun, but I've been able to actually sit down and have dinners with my family, and they're always so busy that now we actually have time to actually have family time, and sometimes that's fun and sometimes that's not, but family is something that you have to be thankful for. And I've just really learned to appreciate my family, and knowing that I can't go over to my grandparents' house, I can't see them and I can't come into contact with them, and that's really upsetting. And just valuing family and spending time with them, making memories, because you're not going to get this time back if we do this quarantine thing right. So we want to make the most of it.
Absolutely. How about for you, Jane?
Well, being home, I have gone on quite a few walks around the neighborhood. I've really spent a lot of time with my family, with my parents and my older brother, who's also in Charlotte. We've had game nights, movie nights, all that kind of stuff. I've gotten some art supplies from Michael's, just to spend time doing that. Really just trying to, and doing homework, of course, because I've still had my classes going on.
All right.
But I like to stay busy and working out, and I think staying busy is really important for staying positive during this time, because once you get off your schedule and you start sleeping in and being lazy, then it all kind of affects you. So I've learned that it's definitely healthier for me to stay busy and to stay active and to keep things for me to do.
Right. I think it's important to try to be as normal as you can, but at the same time, if you need to take a break, we are not kidding. Because you got to do what's best for you in these times, because these are no one's ever been through this before in our that's still alive. Yeah. So we have nothing to compare this to. We have no idea what's the best way to survive through all of this, mentally or physically, for that matter. So whatever you have to do.
Right. It's important to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Keep your mental health positive. And
I mean, that's pretty much why I started my show, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't go anywhere, not even to the store. I was already a stay-at-home mom for the most part. I just worked freelance acting and modeling. So whenever jobs came up, I worked, but most of the time I was home anyway. So it wasn't much of a change in that sense, but just knowing that there's definitely I was going to be weeks or days before I see people other than people I'm related to, which is totally fine. My husband, when he gets home, he doesn't want to hear, I'll be so excited to talk to another adult as a so I'm at least I can share out more words by the time he's home and not just. So I'm just
That
from
is so
experience.
cute.
My daughter was very young, and he was the only person I would see for days. Yeah, I remember those. I don't want to go back to that girl. It was really hard to talk to other adults because I just felt like I would just like tell them my entire life story in 2 seconds. And whoa, wait just a minute.
Oh my gosh.
And not to mention using kiddie terms for everything. So
Right.
definitely
Of course.
changing that. But so when you were competing, going back a little bit, what was your inspiration? Like, what made you decide to even get into pageants?
For me?
Yeah, we'll start with you.
Well, when I started pageants in high school,
Okay.
so I originally got into them because my mom pushed me to do them. She thought it would be a great idea to step outside my comfort zone and to try something new. So I grew up dancing and competitively, so I kind of started. I guess it was a great way to, do something different, to work on speaking skills because I'd only been used to dancing on stage, which is people would think is similar, but it's very different. Yeah, it's crazy, but speaking and like just performing on stage, different. But so I have
Even
a
on
lot of
camera,
respect.
I would even say.
Huh?
It's the same, even for camera, like, because they give you the words to say. So it's not even like
Yeah.
you have to answer for yourself. And even with like
Right.
dancing, they choreograph it, or you guys work on it together.
Right. Right. But I loved it. I did my first pageant at Miss North Carolina Teen USA
Okay.
in 2014. So I didn't win, but I loved it. And then I came back and did it again. But it was a great experience, and I met so many awesome girls, and it was inspirational and encouraging. And doing pageants really motivates you to expand your horizon and to really reach for high goals. So I
Great.
fell in love with them.
Yeah, that's great. How about for you, Peyton?
Yeah, I started around late middle school, early high school. I did it because I was doing everything else. I was like, I just want to try a pageant because I saw one of my friends do it, and I got into it. But I've always loved to sing. I've always been a singer, and so getting in pageants, I've been able to do a lot of singing opportunities, and that's when I was like, I want to do pageants so I can sing. And so that kind of started me on the pageant track, and I'm like, oh wait, I have to do all of this other stuff. And then I really got into it. I loved doing interviews. I loved performing a talent, learning how to walk and speak, and talking in front of thousands of people about either a political topic or an opinion. That takes a lot of practice and thought, and I never realized how that would help me in the future and for situations like this, and for interviews. So
Right.
I just really started enjoying it, and I started putting my all into it, and then I'm here.
Okay. Well, since you brought it up, are there any tips you would give to people who are watching as far as interview or anything that you might have learned from doing pageants that have helped you in real world experiences that you can share for other people as well?
Yeah, I've definitely used the skills that I've learned for interview and public speaking when it comes to furthering my pageant career, or when it comes to delivering a speech in front of my class, or holding a conversation with an individual who I want to get a job from them, or I want to get into a school. Like, you can meet anyone at any second, and you have to put on that professional attitude, that attitude that I'm intelligent, I can hold a conversation, and I mean what I say, and I'm passionate about it, and I can deliver it in an eloquent way. And I started out not good at talking at all. And through practice, I got better at it, and interviews been something I've looked forward to. And I hold that in almost every day-to-day conversation. And I'm pretty sure it's going to help me in the future as well.
I'm sure it will. How about for you, Jane?
Tips that I've learned from pageants, or that
Well,
I've been
tips
able
that
to
you can
use.
share for other people as well that you've learned from competing in pageants that would work in real world situations as well.
I think that one big thing that pageants have taught me is that it's important to just focus on yourself and to not compare yourself to other people around you, and just to internalize things and to, stay on a one track mind. So that, that has served me well in the real world, because especially doing internships and working, things like that, it's easy. And even in class, it's easy to see like your peers around you doing well in classes, and then being like, why am I not doing so well? Or in internships, seeing other people excelling, but you really have to focus on yourself and seeing what you're doing great and to acknowledge that and to focus on that, and to acknowledge things that you're not doing so well so you can improve on them. And I think pageants also really encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle and to go out in their community and make a difference. So that's something that I have taken into the real world and that I will continue to do long after pageants. I want to continue to serve my community and to volunteer.
Okay, so I know that I have my cousin is competing for Miss Northland in November. So are there any tips that you would give directly for girls who are out there who are interested in trying to be exactly where you guys are? What tips would you say worked for you the best that you think made you shine or really stick out to win?
Am I going or are you going?
Yeah, we'll go with you first. Peyton. Sorry,
Okay,
first class. I'm trying to switch to the other one, but yeah, I'm sorry.
I think Jane really touched base on focusing on yourself, and that was something that I struggled with at first. Was I, was self-conscious. I wanted to compare myself to the other beautiful girls around me, and I didn't always win, and I always felt a little bit discouraged sometimes, and I wanted to figure out what's the secret. Like, what do I need to do? And in the end, it was being myself. If you're going to be, I always say, if you're going to be judged for anything, be judged for being yourself. And that is what I want to deliver. And whenever I walk away from an interview or walk off stage, I want to have no regrets and to feel like that was me and I delivered it. And the key to doing that is to practice until it is muscle memory. So when you get on the stage, that's all you have to do. Just be yourself and know that you prepared everything that you could do to be at that moment. And that took me a long time to figure out. But once I did, I felt at peace with it.
Okay. How about for you, Jane?
Well, one thing I did before competing at Miss North Carolina USA, I didn't even look at the other contestants online or anything because I didn't want to get in my head. So I didn't even look at anyone else. I just focused on myself, and I knew what I needed to do to win. I knew that preparing and working on myself and just being mentally there, that I could do it, and that if I didn't, then it was just a judge's opinion. So I always kept that in my head, and then I just had fun with it. When the weekend came, I had already done all my preparation. I had, worked out regularly. I had maintained a healthy lifestyle. I had kept up with the news, just preparing myself for it, which is everyday life, and then it worked out in my favor, I guess. So, but I think it's really important to have fun with the weekend and to enjoy it and to make a lot of friends, because I met so many awesome girls at Miss North Carolina USA who I still keep in touch with, and it is awesome. And we're all trying to meet up again before this year, so for our reunion and all that. But it's really a great weekend, and I would encourage anyone to do it.
I'll be right back. My Mac is about to die, and
no, you're fine. It's actually 6:30, so I'll just if you have any social media you want to just go ahead and give out, we can do that, and then I can let you go. Actually,
I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
So, Peyton, if you want to just share your social media or how people can keep in touch with you, and then we're done. Honestly, so.
Okay. Well, it's probably about to die, so you guys can contact me through Facebook, but Instagram's the best way that people have been able to contact me, on my Miss North Carolina Team USA page. And just DM me if you have anything you want to talk about. Girls have been doing that already, and I love talking to you guys. Thank you for having me.
Oh, great. No, thank you for being here, and I really appreciate both of you guys taking the time to be out on my show with me, and I'll make sure Jane gets to share hers as well. But I didn't want you to run to go get a charger and not me.
Yeah, it's so weird. I just had it plugged up. I don't know why it said it's about to die.
See, mine's a Mac, so maybe they're just being crazy today.
Maybe.
All right. Well, thanks again, Peyton.
Of course.
Weekend.
Thank you.
Bye, Peyton.
All right. So, Jane, how about for you? Where can everyone keep up with you and all that you have going on?
Well, you can follow me here on Facebook or on Instagram at Miss North Carolina USA, or at my personal Instagram, which is Jaxhoj. It's J and then my last name, Axhoj. But yeah, I keep it updated. Message me. I love to keep in touch with all you guys. So if you have any questions or anything. But
sounds good. Well, thank you again so much. I'm just going to run through real quick since you're still here. So Nicole says you are getting serious real world experience in supply chain management before you start. Great field. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Imani says, thank you for these great questions. Great advice, and stay in your own lane. Focus on yourself. I love it. So just want to make sure I told you that before you left. All right. Well, thanks again for being a part of the E-Spot. I really appreciated having both of you queens on my show today.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. It was
Oh,
so much
my pleasure. Well, good luck with your new job, and congratulations on graduating.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your summer. All right.
Thanks. You too.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, are you guys ready for part 2? Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So Vera is not only a former Miss North Carolina, but we go way back. So be prepared. It's going to get a little crazy, a little fun, and I can't wait because Vera is so much fun. Vera's here. Well, how are you, my dear?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to be here. Finally get to talk with you.
It's so weird because we literally probably live maybe 5-10 minutes from each other. Have not seen each other since Miss North Carolina USA or Miss Charlotte. So 20 years.
20 years.
We have not seen each other in real life. I mean, we talk on the phone, we're not.
We do.
But, yeah. It's been a visit. The girl's been busy. She's booked and busy, as they say.
Yeah.
Tell everyone, because I already know, but how did you get your start in pageants? Where did it all begin for Miss Vera?
Well, I was not one of those pageant kids, that did mom enter me in all those pageants. I say a late bloomer because I started when I was a teenager. I did a couple in my hometown, but I started in high school, and it was the pageant where Halle Berry was competing for Miss USA. She was Miss Ohio back in 1986. And Mom and I always watched Miss America, Miss USA. We watched all the pageants together. That was our thing.
Yeah.
And we saw Halle Berry compete that year. She was competing. She was first runner-up to Miss Texas.
Okay.
But it was after that where I said, Mom, I really want to do this. Like, I watched Miss America and Miss USA, but for some reason I was hooked on the USA system. So in high school, I did junior Miss, trying to raise money, scholarship money to go to college. And then I received from Paula Miles the next year in the mail about doing Miss North Carolina Teen. So I did Miss North Carolina Teen. I think I got in the top 8 that year.
I can't believe she's still doing this.
I know.
That's who my emails were through. And I was like, wait, that was the same lady on my application for when I applied.
Yes, and she looks amazing. And she's a wonderful, wonderful director. And I got hooked, did the teen, didn't win that year. I wanted to do it again the next year, but I had aged out. So she said, you should try Miss. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going against these Miss contestants. I'm only like 18 at the time and 19. Okay. And so I didn't place, went back again the next year, didn't place. And I told my mom, I said, I'm not doing it again until I get some experience, and really do it the right way, really go into the pageant knowing exactly who I am. Mm-hmm. So I finished college and I did it for the 3rd time. And I told my parents, this is the last time I'm going to do it. And that was it. 3rd time was a charm. And I won the pageant that year in 98.
But you didn't just win Miss North Carolina. You won another great award, too.
Yes. So Miss USA that year, we were there about 2.5 weeks. We were in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Which is where I was born.
Hey, Louisiana girl.
By the way. Allegedly.
Great food, by the way.
Poser City. I don't really know.
We ate very well.
But one of those places I was born.
It was great. I had a great experience, and I won Miss Congeniality.
Yay, my favorite movie!
And it so happened it is my favorite movie.
Oh my gosh. And the fact that I was like, so April 25th, I think was like a weekend day because I was trying. I didn't let anybody know, but I planned pageant week to be the closest I could to April 25th. Because that's the perfect day, or perfect date.
It's the perfect date. It's still my favorite movie. I mean,
so So like, I don't remember what channel, but they had it on. And it had commercials and everything. I sat through and watched it like I had never watched it before, even though I was in lines before some of the actresses were.
Best movie ever. It is the best movie. It
They
was.
really need to revisit doing, since they do all these redos, that's a movie they should be redoing, because I would love to see how they would do it with the way pageants are now. Can you imagine?
It would be interesting.
Then.
It would be interesting.
It would, because when the girls were like the previous winners, when they were talking about, I didn't look them up in social media. I was like, we didn't even have that option.
And see, that's the thing, we didn't. That's probably the biggest change between pageants then and now, because back then everything was letters. I remember I sent out letters at every school, every person that I knew, trying to get appearances was a lot more work then. You know, of course your directors get you appearances, but a lot of times you had to hustle on your own and make it happen for yourself. So, but I appreciated that. You know, I stayed very busy. I put myself out there, because you only get a year. And I tell you, that year flies by so fast.
I can't even imagine. So tell me a little bit about what were some of your duties as Miss North Carolina?
So at that time, I did a lot of speeches in schools. I used to talk about, you know, anti-bullying and having that confidence and believing who you are, having dreams. So I really loved it. Probably the most unique appearance I had that year was a women's prison.
Oh.
I did. I went to a women's prison. And you know what? It was outside of my hometown, and it was just a really special appearance. Those ladies were some of the situations they were in was really terrible. I remember one young lady, she actually wrote me a letter thanking me. She was in there because her husband used to beat her constantly. So she was a victim of domestic violence, and she just killed him to defend herself. But those things you don't forget. So I have a huge photo album with that letter in there and all the different appearances that I made. It definitely changed my life. To this day, it is something that I will always treasure.
Now, not only did you do pageants then, but you're still doing them. Talk to us a little bit about the difference between doing it in the 90s, or wait, what am I saying? In the late 2000s.
Hey, age is just a number.
Especially now with all the skincare we have available and options, like our moms wish them. Our moms both look amazing still. So.
Oh yeah, mine's a diva. Yes.
For real.
Well, let's see. I thought, after doing USA, I'm going to retire. You know how we all put labels like an athlete. I'm going to retire from pageant. Miss North Carolina USA, I'm done with it. But I always stayed active with them. I judged pageants. I've coached contestants before. I feel like I'm a big sister, everybody's cheerleader, encouraging people to really do it because it's a great experience.
It is.
Something in my heart, I always wanted to do another one. It just was never the right time. With life, everything happened so quickly. But then a few years ago, I had a dear friend who passed away from breast cancer, but she was just probably like one of my best friends that I had. And she was also like a sister. And she could see me light up when I would mention that. I would talk about pageants. She's like, what's holding you back? I was like, well, and that's the thing, we can come up with so many excuses and reasons why we shouldn't do something when the reality is there's really nothing keeping us from doing it. So I said,
us keeping us from doing it.
Exactly myself. So it was Wendy Galley, who's over the Miss North Carolina for America pageant and South Carolina and Mrs. North Carolina and South Carolina pageant.
Yeah.
To me in a Facebook message. And of course, thought about it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then this past October, I've judged the Miss Pink pageant for breast cancer awareness. And her and Victoria, who is the Mrs. South Carolina, got a hold of me, and that was it. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to do this.
Oh, good.
Signed up for it, and I'm very excited.
Oh, that's exciting. But you won, Miss. Go ahead. I feel like you're a cheerleader. Tell the title, woman.
I am representing C.A.R.E. So I am Miss C.A.R.E. for America. So at the state pageant, which right now is June 20th, unless, COVID-19 has any other options here. But it is going to be June 20th. And I'm very, very excited about it. I have worked really, really hard. That's the thing about pageants that does not change, is the hard work and dedication that you put into it. And the difference between now and then is I had just finished college when I won Miss North Carolina. I'm preparing for this as I work a full-time job. I model part-time. I'm doing community service. So I have a full plate, but I'm making it happen. So I'm really, really excited.
Now, what are the different categories that they have you compete for with Miss?
So they're both Miss and Mrs. and you both compete with the same category. So of course you have interview, you have swimsuit, and you have evening gown, which are all great categories that I like to compete for. So
yeah, the swimsuit part, that's the part I'm like, ooh, really? Because I want to do Mrs. I wanted to do it when I was first given the offer, or somebody sent me an email asking me to do it, but we were going through some family stuff with my in-laws and so on, and so we wanted to save money for that in case we needed to fly back and forth to California and so on. But now I'm like,
well, I convinced you to compete before, so
you did.
Before we came on live, I was like, oh my God, you have to do the Mrs. pageant. You would be perfect for it.
And I have so many evening gowns now because the addiction to evening gowns did not stop at pageants. Like every time I see one that's on sale, I'm like, you never know. So I have a full closet ready to go.
Yeah, I think you would do a great job, and we have great coaches. So I got your back. I
have access to some people now.
got access to people. That swimsuit competition, don't worry. I've got my girl Leah.
Can you wear a one piece, or does it have to be two piece?
No, it can be one or two. Whatever makes you feel comfortable.
I'm just thinking for the viewers, they don't want to see all my tiger stripes. That's all. It might be overwhelming for them to see that much. They're like, oh my God, the tiger queen.
Girl, that's just, hey. It's part of it. It's part of it.
Yeah, it happens. But, well, I guess I might as well share what happened. Since you don't really remember. You don't really remember? See, that's
I vaguely remember the situation.
I had the pictures and everything to do like a whole
show. You told me that and I was worried. I said, what pictures is she
Oh, I found them. I was like, where did I put them? Okay, so here's the visual. I'm going to see if this is going to work in the right order.
Uh-oh.
So, all right. Here we go. All right, I was doing really well in the introduction section.
And you look so cute. I love your outfit. Look at the pose. You got it down.
That is straight up limited or express right there. That shirt, the glossy shirt. Oh, yeah. 90s fashion or 2000. I don't know why I keep trying to age myself. And then my evening gown was amazing. It was from I can't even remember.
So pretty.
Like, okay, it's making me very not obviously tan, but yeah. All right. I kind of get the visual. I'll post it to Instagram later. So here's the moment where I lost Miss North Carolina or Miss Charlotte. So here she is. I don't remember who it was. Do you remember?
No, I couldn't recognize her.
It's not the best picture to try to recognize somebody from. But anyway, so right there, this beautiful, smart lady is basically saying, here, you need to win, Miss Charlotte. I'm giving you the best question ever. She says to me, because I used to do Taekwondo competitions. Is it coming back yet? No? Okay, I'm going to keep going. So she says to me, so I see here that you used to do Taekwondo competitions. Can you tell us what's the biggest difference you notice from doing Taekwondo competitions and doing pageants? And I say, all confident and excited, can't wait to just totally ruin this because I didn't know I was going to ruin it. But I was very confident and I was just like, oh, yeah. Well, the biggest difference in doing Taekwondo competitions and doing pageants is that in Taekwondo competitions, I don't have to get dressed up like a drag queen. And then I kept saying drag queen. You don't have to wear fake lashes like a drag queen or get on all this makeup like a drag queen. Like I couldn't stop saying drag queen. And everybody collectively went at the first drag queen comment. And then I just saw everybody kind of like, oh my God, I don't even know her in my cheering section.
It's coming back.
Yeah, that's what happened. I was like, yeah, I'm never going around those people again. I'm totally cut off from pageants.
I do remember now. Oh, I remember.
Classes after that. I was like, oh, so this is what we doing, brain? You're just going to go for the funniest thing to say instead of the smartest?
And your face. Yeah, I remember your face was like, I'm done.
Yep, did it. And it became like such a joke that on my car, one of my best friends, which is funny enough because now he is a drag queen, he gave me this sticker that said drama queen because he couldn't find one that said drag queen. And so I drove around my car that said drama queen on it and just kind of owned it like, yep, I should stick to drama where people write the lines for me instead of my brain coming up with it on its own because it was the funniest thing.
You kept smiling though.
Oh yeah, I was smiling the whole time until I saw my cheering section all going, oh my God, we don't know her.
Oh,
but I want to be photogenic because she's pretty, just don't let her talk. I can't believe how long I held that. Just like, maybe that's why she doesn't want to meet with me because she's still mad at me.
No, you know what?
All that work we put in together. It
happens though. It happens. And you know, interview is tough. On stage question B is the toughest part of the competition just because you don't know what they're gonna ask you. And it's like those nerves kick in and you just say something.
Yep.
Like, oh God, did I just say that?
Yep.
So that was you, but you kept your composure. You still kept smiling, you know, so it didn't you if that makes you feel any better. So
well, I don't remember the guy's name now, but he called me afterwards and he was like, yeah, so let me just give you an idea of how you did. Like you were doing really well. You could work on swimsuit because you were a little too muscular. I was like, I played soccer, that happens in the leg area. But I've worked on that since then. But needless to say, he was like, but the interview, what made you say that? And I was like, I don't know. I got on stage and I just went for it. Let me be funny instead of let me be more. And even like behind in the dressing room, I was saying that jokingly as well. And I was like, now I know to not joke like that beforehand. I need to stay in serious mode or whatever I'm there to get paid to do, like stay motivated in that direction, joke later, because the joke could end up coming out by accident. Or like Peyton was saying, muscle memory, just keep repeating and practicing so it's just automatic no matter how nervous you are, the right things come out. Taking a lot of speech classes since then just to make sure I never do that again.
You know, I think the biggest key to it, especially, you know, when you watch the pageants and even now as I'm preparing for it, you have to give yourself a split second. So, you know, a lot of times contestants feel like they have to, you know, you hear the question and they feel like they have to just immediately blurt something out. The key to it is take a second to process the question like in your mind and then answer that question. So if you just give yourself a little bit more time and then answer the question, it can come out a little bit different. And you're preparing and practice. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, just winging it. No, it's hard. Like I'm telling you right now, as I'm going through this process, it's really hard. You know, some of the simple questions you may think, you're sitting there like, oh, wow, how would I answer that? So you really have to practice, think on your feet, but take your time.
Well, do you have any other tips that you give? Because I do have some people on here that are possibly competing in November for Miss North Carolina USA as well. So would love the opportunity to hear from a previous winner. What do you think it takes to become a Miss North Carolina USA?
You know, it probably sounds cliche. Is you know, people always say be yourself, but it's true. You need to be your authentic self. You can't go into the competition trying to compare yourself to someone else because you're you and they are who they are. and the judges will like you for being your uniquely you self, as I like to say. So I think learning to be vulnerable. I know it's probably not a tip most people hear, but it's important to learn to be vulnerable and put yourself out there, just because when you are a title holder, people want to relate to you, and they do. I mean, crown and sash goes such a long way, and when they see that and you're just being your authentic self, they feel comfortable about being themselves around you. So it's very, very important to be vulnerable and be willing to put yourself out there, because it's a tough job.
Now, you also were a judge for pageants, being
Yes.
on the other side, what were you looking at? Like, what were some of the key things you would notice that you can share, that you can like, that's what would stick out to me, or different things that you noticed? Maybe not necessarily with just interview, just even with swimsuit or evening gown.
Confidence.
Okay.
Confidence is key. I mean, honestly, it's not about having the best evening gown, because you can change a dress. It's about the person in the dress. Like, if you come out there and you know exactly who you are, you're confident in what you're wearing, it makes such a difference, even in swimsuit or evening gown or interview. And even if you mess up, if you're still confident and know who you are, to me, that really does stand out above the rest. It's just being confident. And I love to see the ladies that enjoy themselves. Like, you can tell they really enjoy themselves. You know, there are some that you can see nerves, you can see, oh my God, I got to get this. They're in their head. But it's the young ladies who just go out there and give it their all and just be themselves. I think that, to me, those are the delegates that stand out the most.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure that we also talk about your I was about to say special interest, but that's not it. See, again, think a minute. Maybe it's you. Maybe being around you just makes me nervous because you're just too pretty.
Don't try it. I told you, you had that mishap that you've kept with you forever. And now look at you. You interview people and people ask you questions, and now you're nailing it. So you overcame that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, it's just a matter of just being one of those people like, well, nobody's going to tell me no if I'm my own boss. I can do whatever I want.
Absolutely.
So, and it might be that too. But needless to say, I want to make sure we do talk about your, because you're doing a lot in the community. I want to make sure that we talk about it, because I think it's so important that people get involved. I don't remember who was the quote by, but there was like, your debt to the world that you live in is giving back. Something.
Absolutely. Yes.
So you do, since I've known you, you've always been involved in different things that have within the community. So I would love to talk about what you're, oh wait, you were on Wheel of Fortune? Sorry, I didn't mean to talk about that. Wait, I didn't know about that.
Oh, Wheel of Fortune.
Sorry. I'm like trying to find the name of the organization that you're with. And I'm like, yeah, Susan G. Komen, I got that. But then I was like, wait, there was another one. And I was getting ready to, and then Wheel of Fortune kicked in. I was like, wait, what? How did I miss that before?
I wasn't very fortunate, but I mean,
I think
so you talk about
on that show.
You talk about you had a mishap. Nerves kicked in for me.
Uh-oh.
I said R, and R was already on the board.
Oh. Well, it'd have been funny if you like said a bad word or something, or you know, you see those little memes where people accidentally say something. You're like, why would you say that? That's not even like a PC word or G-rated word.
I said it, blurted it out clear as day. But I'm telling you, the nerves kicked in. It's a very
and that's somewhere on YouTube. I can find you still.
No, I looked and couldn't find it happily. But you know what? You are in that reporting. You might dig it up somewhere, but
I mean, I'm surprised some of the things I found that people are like, oh yeah, it's not out there anymore. And then I text it to them once I find it. They're like, I hate you. Like, I won't post it. But
Pat and Vanna were the best. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting them, and I had good consolation prizes, even though my mom was like, really?
What were the consolation prizes?
I mean, you know, like a camera, you know, nice items like that, but
nice
experience. And the wheel was really hard. Like, it was to spin that wheel.
Now, did they fly you out for that, or did you have to like pay your own way there and all of that?
So I auditioned in Raleigh, and
Okay.
I love people who are animated, which I had no problem with that. Like,
I wonder
that person, I had no problem. And so they selected me. I think we did. We had to pay our way out there, but we didn't care. It was like Wheel of Fortune. That was our favorite show. So my mother and I went out there. We
Okay.
saw some family and friends. And I did the show. It was very quick, though. I did the show and then came back. So,
Okay. See, I always wonder because I gotta go to Jay Leno to just watch that, and yeah, I had no idea that's like a 4-hour show. I was so bored, not because of him, but just like sitting in between each, because they warn you that you have to stay there. Once you're there, you can't leave. Man, I was ready to go after 30 minutes. It was so boring waiting in between each thing, and it was freezing. And this was in Burbank, so I was coming straight from work in my cute little suit and stuff, and I'm like, I'm freezing, and it's dark. I have to sit here for 4 hours. I think I fell asleep a few times, and Justin Timberlake was there, so.
oh my goodness, be still my heart. JT, you know what today is anyway?
It's not a big day. Look, I'm still mad at him for Janet Jackson, but I like that one. I'll save that one. I'm like, wait, he can perform, but she can't? He's the one that ripped it off, technically, but whatever. Anyway, we're going to, for real, talk about all of the volunteer work you do, because you're an ambassador and you do a lot of great things. And we were talking about this off air as well. And you have some great tips for people who suffer with anxiety as well. So I want to make sure we get to the serious stuff, because me and you can be goofy for hours.
That's what we do. So yeah, I was telling you before we went live that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So it's very, very crucial. To me right now, mental health is probably more important than ever, just because of this pandemic. I'll tell you, it was literally on Friday the 13th in March, of all days. We're at work, then our boss is like, you got to go home. And I've been home ever since, and think about it. The day before, you're making plans for the weekend and all this stuff you want to do. Hey, I got a pageant in a couple weeks. Sudden everything changes. So for me, the adjustment was really hard the first couple weeks. The first month, actually, it's been really difficult because of anxiety. And I do suffer anxiety. I've suffered depression before. But the anxiety was really bad because here's a situation that I have no control over. And I'm used to being able to control everything in my little world.
Yeah.
I'm a very busy person, as you know, and home used to be my relaxation place. And now home is my office for work. It's where I work out. I feel like there's nowhere for me to really escape to figure things out. So my anxiety kicked in a really bad. I would have panic attacks, and I was so feared that I would get sick, or my parents or my family, my friends, because this is something you can't control. And so I would wake up in the middle of the night out of my sleep. My heart would be racing. Sometimes I get tingle in my fingers or hands just because, I have such stress and anxiety from it. But walking around the neighborhood has really helped. Zoom time with friends, taking just a nice drive around the neighborhood has always been helpful. Exercise, working out has really done wonders. Still preparing for this pageant has helped because it's given me something else to focus on. Anxiety is really real. I even took a day off of work, because you work from home doesn't mean you don't get tired. Right. So I took a day off because I knew my body was just feeling anxiety, and stress, and I felt overwhelmed. So once I was able to control that, it got better. So how I control the anxiety was at an appearance I made. A fifth grade class gave me a journal, Becoming Journal from Michelle Obama. And I'm a big person that loves journaling.
I need to read that book.
That is amazing. So I've been journaling in that book.
Wait it out.
Mm-hmm. I have been journaling in it ever since. And it just brings back that peace that I had missed because of everything that's going on. But I I think people need to be more comfortable talking about mental illnesses because it's real and you're not crazy. Um, whatever you're feeling is absolutely real, and there is lots of help out there. Get that help. I know therapy has really done wonders because
And there's so many virtual options now as well.
yes, there is. You can have an appointment, right online, a Zoom appointment to kind of help you
There's
get.
texting even if you don't want to talk to anyone. There's a lot of different options. I'll try to make sure I post a lot of different helplines later today. I won't promise.
Yeah, and for a long time, I wasn't comfortable talking about it because I was that person that, oh my God, they would think I'm crazy. And then I realized, you know what? I'm human, and what I'm feeling is real. And if I'm feeling this way, I know other people are, and I feel like it's important that I share that.
I'm so glad you did because, like you said, there are so many people, and being Miss North Carolina, Miss Congeniality, sometimes people just automatically assume, like, why would you have anxiety? Why would you, like, what problems do you have? And people just don't understand that just because what they may see as privilege doesn't mean it doesn't come with a lot of extra responsibilities or anxieties or stressors that they don't know of. So I'm really glad that you brought that up and shined that light on not only that May is mental health awareness, but just your own struggles that you've gone through. Like when you mentioned that you went through depression, if you don't mind, what are some of the things that you felt helped you get out of that? Because that's another common thing that people are experiencing during this time.
The thing is with depression, it just doesn't happen suddenly. It's something that happens over time.
Okay.
And for me is that I had a hard time expressing my feelings. I used to internalize everything and try to figure things out on my own. And my breaking point was actually I started, just wanting to be in the dark, go home, go to work, come home, do nothing, stay in bed all the time. You're in this point in your life where you just don't know what purpose you have. So I remember I was on the go. Like I say, I'm a very busy person. I was on the go for work, and on a flight home, it was a red eye. I just had a breakdown. I just was in tears. And from that moment, I knew I got to get some help. I'm struggling here. And therapy was my solution. And being able to talk to someone who understood what I was going through and to help me walk through certain things that I was going through in my life. But the biggest lesson that she taught me was learning how to say no. And I've had a hard time with that, and when you put so much on your plate, it can bring you down. It can bring about and add on to that depression and even the anxiety.
Now, I'm going to ask you this because it's kind of a sensitive topic. So if you're like, girl, get off of my business, you can say that. Don't feel obligated to answer. But I think it's so important because us both being women of color, it's not very common for us to be thought of even going to therapy. So when you were looking for your therapist, can you give people just a couple of tips that helped you find your therapist? Was it the first therapist you went to, or did you have to figure out what kind of therapist worked best for you?
It was actually the first one I came across. I did a Google search.
Okay.
And I Googled Christian therapist because I did want somebody to kind of have the same beliefs that I had, because I can't talk to somebody who doesn't believe in the same things that I do. And I looked her up and I read about her, and my spirit told me this is a person that can relate to you.
Okay.
3 years went straight, a couple times a week initially. And then now it's just check-ins, now it's just like, hey, this was the scenario I had, and this is how I was able to handle it and overcome it. And what you learn is ways to deal with it before it even happens. If you see it coming on, now I have a way of knowing how to deal with it going forth.
Yeah, that's great. And before, I know we're a little bit over time, but I don't care. So I want to make sure we also talk about look, it's just 5 minutes. If you guys need to leave, I understand, but I think it's too important to just let it go. You're also deal with Crohn's disease.
Yes.
Helping out with that. And because that's one of those categories of people who we need to be more aware of. And they're always talking about, well, if you're healthy, you're fine against coronavirus. You don't always know this because you were just recently diagnosed. So can you share a little bit about that as well? Because I think
Absolutely.
what Crohn's disease is as well.
Absolutely. I was diagnosed in September 2008. Time flies. With Crohn's disease. But before I was diagnosed at UNC Hospital, go Tar Heels. That's why I'm a huge Tar Heel fan, because they helped figure out what was wrong with me.
I knew you weren't perfect. That's the problem.
You know what? I'm sorry.
You even got on Duke Blue. How dare you?
I didn't even, it's not Duke Blue. Don't get it twisted, okay?
No.
Anyway, they diagnosed me there. For 3 years prior, though, I was extremely sick. I had swelling so bad that I had to put myself on crutches because I couldn't walk. I had mouth sores. I would be bleeding, lots of bleeding, irritable bowels, diarrhea. I mean, just being honest with you.
No. This is why
I'm going to keep it real.
I appreciate it, because I'll clear my side too then.
Yeah, I would drink water and it would go right through me. Sometimes I would be so tired I couldn't move out of bed. I went to different doctors. They gave me different diagnoses. They tested me for lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. One doctor even told me they thought I was just crazy and needed to go see a shrink. And I'm like, I can't make up these symptoms. Something is wrong.
Right.
So eventually I went to
I'm going to back up for a minute. Were most of these doctors male?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Absolutely. They were male doctors. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Some of the other issues they thought, were female issues, but I'm like,
no. All hysterical. Got it.
That's not the case. So I had a doctor who referred me to UNC, and he spent maybe 2 hours with me. That's the longest doctor appointment I've ever had, because most doctors spend 20 minutes with you and you're out. But I know something seriously is wrong here. And I think he could see I was so desperate. I went from 140 pounds to 110 pounds. Didn't hold any food, and I'm sick. And it's hard to tell your employer you're sick, but you don't know why you're sick. So I had no sick time left at work because I was always out sick. Mm-hmm. And so they said I needed colonoscopy, did the colonoscopy. They found I had Crohn's disease. I said, I don't know what it is, don't know how to spell it, but I'm glad to know that we can get a solution to it. So at the time I was on Remicade, but now I'm on Humira.
Oh, I see the commercials for that all the time.
Oh, see? And it's great. It's a great drug for me. And I'm on something else called 6-MP, but the side effect is it really lowers your immune system. I mean, usually I give my shot every a couple weeks, but now I've spread it out, which tells
do you self do your shots, or do you go somewhere for it?
I do it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I spread it out some too, just to, depending on how I feel. But yeah, I do it myself. But a lot of times after I do it, sometimes I can get sick. So I'm in that category where I really have to be careful because the medications that I take lower my immune system. So, if I got the coronavirus, it could really make me sick. So that was another reason why the anxiety was high too, because I was so afraid that I could get it and get sick.
No, I can imagine. So about 3 years ago, I think it was longer than that. I don't even remember 2015, I was in a car accident, and my hip was dislocated as part of it and all this other stuff. I went through physical therapy. Everything seemed to be fine. And then all of a sudden I was having lactose intolerance, or at least I thought that's what it was. And then it just got even worse and even worse. And I was working for another talk show at the time, and I would be on camera and just be like, oh, I gotta go. I couldn't. I was producing and doing everything I'm doing now, except for I was doing it with 2 other guests or 2 other hosts with me. And so I told her, I don't know what's going on. I went to several different doctors. I had a colonoscopy. They told me, just like you, that maybe I just need to go to therapy. Something's wrong with me. My husband and daughter have both found me laying flat on the ground, just sweating from every pore. But the only place I could find comfortable was my bathroom floor, and it was disgusting. I have ran in Target, I stole something trying to get to the bathroom for the fear of, not making it and so on. And it ended up being pelvic floor dysfunction. It wasn't a woman doctor finally went through. So, okay, so it's not lactose intolerance. We're going to test you instead of just making assumptions. So we did the colonoscopy. She did the lactose intolerance test. And then I had to do a test to find out about the pelvic floor dysfunction. Oh my God, that was a very painful test. I don't know have you ever, no, you wouldn't have to. They told you right with the Crohn's. Well, they stick a rod with a balloon all the way up and test your muscles' reaction to it, whether you can do certain things. And I went to physical therapy to get it fixed. It took about 6 months of physical therapy, and then I was cured. But I thought I had ulcer-coastal, I can't even pronounce it. But when I was looking up all my symptoms, and I joined all these different groups, and I was like, oh, well, this must be what it is, because I was having all of those issues. And I guess it did cause some anxiety, and the fact I was always trying to figure out where was the closest bathroom anywhere I went. Oh my God, my daughter is FaceTiming my cousin, and it always comes through this phone first. This is the joy of being a mom who wants to make sure she's a helicopter mom, lets her have phones and everything.
No, not you.
I'm a cool mom, but I'm on it. So anyway, sorry about that, because they do know that usually after 7 is fine, but yeah.
It's okay.
So when I saw that you had Crohn's disease, I was like, I would love for her to talk about that, because that was one of those things that I went through. It was like, oh my gosh, this could be my life. And not discrediting that it is, because it is your life, but I went through a very small fraction of having it for 3 years, and that's a lot to have to deal with. And knowing that now the coronavirus is also high risk, people need to be aware of the fact that it's not just as long as they're healthy, there's people around them that couldn't handle it. And so I wanted them to see and have a face, and beautiful face like yours, for them to think about every time they go out there or having parties. I'm not judging them, but every Friday we're all having a party. So, but I want to make sure, since we're now almost 15 minutes over, that I go through the different comments. Well, Imani says hi. You both look great, amazing. Black don't crack. Says nice. I'm like, it cracks. It may not crack, but it definitely moves. What does it say? I don't want to even. I won't show. Okay. Oh yeah. So the drag queen. Yep. Lisa. I really said it on stage in front of everybody in Charlotte. In Charlotte, it's changed a lot now, but back then it was very conservative. So the idea of saying that in Charlotte, it wasn't a funny thing that it is now. Yeah, it got autocorrected, but being authentically you seems to be the key message. Tamika says I've always wanted to be on Wheel of Fortune. So good to know. You can audition wherever you want. Because she doesn't she lives up in the DMV area. And Lisa also says great discussion about anxiety and depression.
Thank you, Lisa.
Latasha says hello from Houston.
Hey, Houston.
I'm getting a lot of laughing emojis, so I don't really know what I'm that laughing emoji. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff. That's why I was like, I can't wait for you to come on, because I feel like some of the best years of my life I spent with you, working on movie sets, hanging out with the twins, and getting in so much trouble, traveling, not trouble, because we were very innocent kids, but we had a lot of fun back then.
We did.
I'm glad we got this moment and got to share it with everyone. Is there anything else that you want to speak of that we didn't cover?
No, we covered everything.
Yay. Well, make sure you follow Miss Vera Lachey on Instagram. Well, wait, I'll let you say it. Everywhere that they can follow you, in case some of those things are private.
So on Instagram, she's right. You can follow me at Vera Lachey. And then on Facebook is Vera Morris.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being a guest and my friend and being here with me this week on Pageant and Beauty Week. It was so much fun. I got to talk about my favorite topics, which is anything skin and beauty related and entertainment. Count me in. So good luck with your pageant in June. Is there any way that we can watch or keep up? Do you know is it aired or
No, it's not aired. But it is going to be in Mooresville at the Performing Arts Center. So
Mooresville? Wait, Mooresville, or Mooresville, way down in Charlotte?
Moores.
I should know. I got all excited. I was like, oh! I remember my agent sent me a job and they wrote Morrisville. I was like, oh, that's right around the corner. No, it was down by Charlotte because it had double O.
Yeah, come on out. You know?
I like that area, Lake Norman. That's where Racing Wives films. I like that area.
It's beautiful out there. So I'm very, very excited. I cannot wait.
Well, keep me posted because I'll definitely try to get tickets so I can see.
Absolutely.
See how that goes. That'll be so much fun. I can cheer for you, and I promise, no matter what you say, I will not be embarrassed.
Thank you.
Because you won't say anything worse than what I said.
Hey, it's all good.
Oh my gosh, too much fun. All right. Oh, wait, let me make sure. Oh, Goldie Bell says, I'm proud of both of you.
Thanks, Goldie.
Love this. Can't wait to chat with you, Vera.
Oh, thank you, Romani.
All right. Well, thank you again, Vera. You rock, as always. And it was really awesome speaking with you. And we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. You know how to find me.
Girl, don't I? I know that way. Now I know how. Okay. I'm not going to make it awkward and weird. Well, thanks again, Vera. And we will be in touch very soon. And congratulations with everything you're doing. I'm also so proud of you as well. And
thank you so much.
We didn't even bring that up, but she also models for charities. So make sure you follow her and all of the organizations she's involved with because she's doing amazing things and you'll be a better person just from watching her.
Oh, thank you, Camille. And I'm very proud of you too. I have to say, I've seen your journey and I'm really, really proud of all that you're doing and continue to do. So
yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Well, awkward bye time.
Bye.